Judges 15. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research, the ISR, because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. Yah is the Elohim of the heavens and the earth, the first and the last and the only. He is extremely jealous. He doesn't even want us to have the names of idols or mighty ones come to our lips. And his son Yehoshua died on a stake for the sins of all of humanity more than 2,000 years ago. And the letter J is about 600 years old, and Yehoshua in English is Joshua, and another word for judges is rulers. Judges 15. And it came to be after some time in the days of wheat harvest that Shimshon visited his wife with a young goat, and he said, "Let me go in to my wife into her room." But her father would not permit him to go in. And her father said, "Indeed, I thought that you hated her intensely, so I gave her to your companion. Is not her younger sister better than she?" Excuse me. "Is not her younger sister better than she? Please take her instead." And Shimshon said to them, "This time I am blameless regarding the Philistines, if I do evil to them." And Shimshon went and caught 300 foxes, and took torches, and turned them tail to tail, and put a torch between each pair of tails, and set the torches on fire, and sent them out into the standing grain of the Philistines, and burned up both the stalks and the standing grain, even the vineyards and olive trees. And the Philistines said, "Who did this?" And they answered, "Shimshon, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he took away his wife and gave her to his companion." Then the Philistines went up and burned her and her father with fire. Okay, so they killed her anyways. And Shimshon said to them, "Oh, well, hey, she backstabbed him and she died anyways." And Shimshon said to them, "Though you do this, yet I shall take revenge on you, and after that I cease." And he struck them hip and thigh, a great slaughter, and he went down and dwelt in the cleft of the rock of Etam. E with a half a check mark, YTAM. The Philistines then went up and encamped in Yehuda and spread out against Leah, LEH with a dot I. And the men of Yehuda said, "Why have you come up against us?" And they answered, "We have come up to bind Shimshon, to do to him as he has done to us." And 3,000 men of Yehuda went down to the cleft of the rock of Etam, and said to Shimshon, "Do you not know that the Philistines are rulers over us? Why have you done this to us?" And he said to them, "As they did to me, so I did to them." And they said to him, "We have come down to bind you, to give you into the hand of the Philistines." And Shimshon said to them, "Swear to me not to fall on me yourselves." And they spoke to him, saying, "No, but we are certainly going to bind you, and shall give you into their hand, but certainly not kill you." So they bound him with 2 new ropes, and brought him up from the rock. When he came to Leah, the Philistines came shouting to meet him, and the Spirit of Yah came mightily upon him, and the ropes that were on his arms became like flax that had burned with fire, and his bonds broke loose from his hands, and he found a fresh jawbone of a donkey. Okay, yeah, so this is what I was talking about. The other one before that, the ox goad. I still need to look that up. GOAD, ox goad. But this, a fresh jawbone of a donkey. This is the story I like. I really like this story. Maybe it's because there's just a lot of killing with a jawbone of a donkey. It's like a video game style killing, but I don't know. And he found a fresh jawbone of a donkey, and he put out his hand and took it, and struck 1,000 men with it. And Shimshon said, "With the jawbone of a donkey, 1 heap, 2 heaps. With the jawbone of a donkey, I have stricken 1,000 men." And it came to be, when he had ended speaking, that he threw the jawbone from his hand, and called that place Ramath Leah, Ramath Leah, Leh with a dot underneath of it, I. And he became very thirsty, and cried out to Yah, and said, Have you given this great deliverance by my hand of your servant, and now I am to die of thirst and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised? You couldn't have just been like, Hey Yah, I need your help, can you please give me some water? And not just be like, Am I here to die now? And Elohim split the hollow place that is in Leah, and water came out, and he drank, and his spirit came back, and he revived. So he called its name En Hakor, E with a half a check mark, N space, and then capital Haqqore, which is in Leah to this day. And he ruled Israel 20 years in the days of the Philistines. Yeah, I think humans, they're so self-entitled. They think that if they don't have it in front of them right now, then he must want them to die, instead of just asking for it. I know it seems like the more polite thing to do is ask for it, not just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna die. I need this," and he'd be like, "Oh, yeah, sure, here, I'll give it to you now."